49ers, they crushed the Seahawks. They scored 25 straight in the second half. Killed them. 41-23. After Geno Smith fumbled, was not a great day for Seattle after Geno Smith fumbled in the red zone. But that's becoming sort of a trend that I've seen with Geno Smith. I think that the Seahawks are a little bit farther away than the people around me make it think. If you don't know, I'm from Seattle. All of my friends, Seahawk fans, I'm not. If you look at their games against playoff teams this year, Geno Smith hasn't been great. He has not been great. Week 2, they played against the 49ers. And remember, in that 49ers game, Trey Lance got injured in the first quarter? And so they had to bring in Jimmy G, who's, again, a starting caliber quarterback. It's not like they brought in a backup. It's not like they brought in a Nick Mullins or a CJ Beathard or, he's a starting level quarterback. They got outgained by 150 yards. They were getting outgained in terms of yards per play. They had 10 penalties. 6 of those penalties resulted in first downs. They lost the turnover battle 3-0. 2 of those weren't on Geno Smith, but they had a muffed punt or a punt that was fumbled, I guess I should say. I think it hit off one of the gunners. And then they called a really dumb running back pass in the red zone. But Geno Smith didn't look good. Less than 200 passing yards, a pick, no touchdowns. The only reason they put up points in that game is because I think they blocked a field goal and returned it for a touchdown. And even, again, as you go throughout the season, he didn't particularly play super well in a lot of these games. Against the Chargers, yeah, they beat him by 2 touchdowns, and they had a really good yards per play, but they tied the turnover battle. Geno Smith had around 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 turnovers. He had an interception and a fumble. The team still had 7 penalties. Throughout the season, we see it. The Giants was his best game, but still around 200 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, nothing special, 4.5 yards per play. That'd be last in the NFL. The Buccaneers, that's another one. We're seeing these red zone interceptions. As you go later in the season, that's where we start seeing it a lot more with him. He fumbled against the Buccaneers. It was almost a carbon copy of what we saw last night or 2 nights ago with Geno Smith. Fumbling in the red zone when they have a chance to take the lead in the game or at least get back into the game. I don't remember the exact situation, but I think a touchdown would have tied the game or given them the lead. And they fumbled. He fumbled. That's a red zone turnover. Then the 49ers, again, they didn't have a touchdown on offense until garbage time. Threw the ball 44 times, 238 yards, a touchdown, 5.5 yards per attempt, 8 penalties. The narrative that this team is well coached just isn't true. It's not true. They're flat out not well coached. And if you don't believe me, because everyone wants to crown Pete Carroll, if you don't believe me, I think they've been top half in the league in penalties, or in terms of lack of penalties, I guess I should say, in penalties per game. They've been bottom half of the league every year, except for I think 2018, since 2012, since Russell Wilson's rookie year. They've been bottom half of the league in penalties. That's not well coached. Well coached teams are not consistently bad at being penalized. They're not. They're truly, truly not. And again, as we go over, keep going down the list. He didn't play well versus Kansas City. 40 passing attempts, 215 yards, a touchdown and a pick. That was a pick in the end zone, I believe. Another 6 penalties. They lost the turnover battle, obviously, with that one pick. And then the 49ers game this year, yeah, he played well in the first half. Then he gets, throws an interception, has a fumble. Only 5 penalties, so not as bad, and they were pretty efficient on 3rd and 4th down. They were outgained again by 150 yards. They were outgained in every game versus the 49ers by at least 100 yards. I think that they're farther away than a lot of people think. They're really far away. I don't know if Geno Smith is a franchise level quarterback. We've seen it once. We've seen one good year from him. Again, 30 touchdowns and 11 picks is nothing to sneeze at. It's nothing to sneeze at. Like that is good. Those are good stats. But when you have 10 touchdowns and 7 turnovers in 7 games versus playoff teams, that's not great. You beat the Broncos. You beat the Lions, which looks like a very good win, but I think they were at that point, their defense was looking at going to be one of the worst in the league, worst of all time. Cardinals, Chargers, who we just saw, are extremely inconsistent. The Giants, that's a good win. I'll give them the Giants win. That's very good. But Cardinals again, and then Rams, Jets, Rams. All those games, neither team, none of them had a quarterback like worth anything. They're going to need to hit on their draft picks to truly be what I think a lot of people around me believe that they are when it comes to being in that upper tier of NFL royalty. Again, they could take advantage of a very weak NFC. That's definitely possible. But I think that they're farther away than a lot of people think they are. Even if you take out the Niners games, even if you take out those 3 games, they were 2-2. And he still didn't look particularly great. He didn't look great. Truly. Did not look great in all of them, except for the Giants game. So he didn't look good in 3 out of 4. Not exactly what you want.